Welcome to the most listened to golf in the world, the Fairways of Life show, on air, online, and around the world, with the most candid interviews, unforgettable stories, taking you beyond the ropes. Here's your host, New York Times best-selling author, Matt Adams.
What is going on, folks? Welcome into the Fairways of Life show on this Monday. Hope you guys are doing well from wherever you are joining us. So we got a lot of golf to go through with you today. I'm going to start with Jon Rahm winning his first individual event on LIV. His team also won. How he won, we'll get into the details of that coming up. Another veteran won on the PGA Tour, breaking a drought that lasted over 6 years. And en route to doing it, had a triple bogey. It happened to be in the opening round, but still had a triple bogey in the tournament, and yet wasn't the first player to win a PGA Tour event with a triple bogey in this year. We'll get into the details of what that means. I'm curious if you guys can guess who that is. The CPKC Women's Open was up in Alberta. We'll be talking about that. Another week, another major in the game of golf. The Senior Open, who won there, we'll be going through that. Also, we're going to talk about golf in the Olympics today because we're on the cusp of it. There's interviews coming up over the next few days. Andrew, do you have that graphic you guys were putting together about who's coming through the interview center? Now, keep in mind, these times it's Central European summertime that we're displaying for you. So today, Benny On and Tom Kim, Hideki Matsuyama, Nakajima, Scheffler. I don't know why Scotty's coming in by himself. 2-2-2, and then Scotty alone. Tomorrow, you could see it's packed. Dom's saying a lot of already came through. Who came through, Dom? Has already spoken to me.
Morikawa and Clark were on the boat in the opening ceremonies. I don't believe Scheffler was there yet.
What did they address the media? I'm not. This isn't like a. Scotty's not coming out in uniform, right?
Well, they actually
wearing the red, white, and blue
don't know
jacket.
how they're doing that with the uniform. Yeah, we'll look at it. We'll see.
So anyway, tomorrow is going to be packed. You can see all the different groups and teams and players coming through. There's Xander. That's 2:15. He's also coming by himself. Maybe he and Scheffler were like, no, we want our own time. They're the only ones, Dom, as I'm looking at it, because there's Wyndham Clark and Colin Morikawa on Wednesday at 3. Wearing their jackets. Did you see the stick that they gave people saying, like, what'd you think about the fashion? I didn't see the opening ceremony, right? Did you see the opening ceremony, Dom?
I did.
And what'd you think of it? That means you hate it. I can already tell.
Listen to me.
The pregnant pause.
I don't want to be overly negative. So let me just say.
Why change your today?
Let me just say, it was not good. It's not shit.
No, I was talking about the jackets.
It was not good.
The jackets they were wearing, it was like the red, white, and blue coats, and I think they had blue jeans on or something. People were going crazy on social media. I'm talking about the golfers. It was a picture of. I saw a picture of Colin Morikawa standing next to Wyndham Clark, and people were like, I hate it. It's awful. I hate it. I don't know. I mean, it's an opening ceremony. You got to have something that has some kind of pageantry to it, right? No?
If I was in charge of this whole thing, which I would never be, nor should I be allowed to be,
that's true.
I would have done it very differently. I just would have done it differently. Also, for the record, not a fan of opening ceremony things in general. Ryder Cup, Solheim Cup, Olympics, you name it. I don't want the pre. I want the event. I don't need to see a concert. I want to see the event. That's what I want. I want to watch the Olympics. I don't want to watch people on a boat before the Olympics not playing in the Olympics. I don't need to see that.
Well, I get that, but I mean, when you're talking about Solheim Cup or Ryder Cup, you're raising the flags, you're introducing the players. I don't know. Call that pageantry if you want to, but I think that's
I don't. It's not my thing. What do you want from me? I don't get it. I want to watch the Ryder Cup. I love the Ryder Cup. I love the Solheim Cup. I don't love speeches and concerts. I don't need that.
Or apparently boats. Like I said, I didn't see it, so.
You didn't see it. Somehow it feels like that was on purpose.
I don't even know when it is. So this is one of the issues that I have.
Yeah. How do you know the Olympics are on? It's not like everyone in the world isn't talking about it happening right now.
Yeah, but the problem is if I said to you, pick a sport, I want to see water polo. When is it on?
Well, the way it's happening in the States. Hold on. I know we have people watching us all over the world, but the way it's happening in the United States is they're doing primetime coverage every night, and they're showcasing, obviously, we're the United States. They're showcasing the United States athletes and teams back to back to back to back to back, and they're just showing you what matters from what took place over the course of the day. So it is tape delayed, and if you follow online and you know what happened already, it's ruined. But if you go through the whole day and you don't look at your phone and you have no idea what's happening, you can be surprised and just watch what happened. The alternative is, like with golf this week, if you're in the United States, if golf's on like in the middle of the morning. It's like 3 a.m. on every day, something like that, if you want to watch it live.
When does it start? Thursday?
3 a.m.
On Thursday?
It starts on Thursday, yeah. 3 a.m., on Golf Channel and Peacock and all the NBC family. 3 a.m. every day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is when it starts. That's live.
Stroke play.
But again, correct. Yes, that's correct. We'll talk about this stuff later.
All right, we'll talk about this stuff later. But Jon Rahm, we could talk about right now because Jon Rahm had his first, believe it or not, his breakthrough victory on LIV just happened. He'd been knocking on the door a lot, but actually breaking through. This was his first individual win, and the first individual win came. Now, full credit to Jon. Jon did what he had to do to win. But in order to win, Terrell Hatton missed a 5-foot putt on the 18th hole that would have sent the event into a playoff. Yes, Hatton is on Rahm's team. We'll get into that story in a second. But Jon Rahm spoke to the win, and he was pretty emotional following. Here he is talking about what it felt like.
Well, it's also, first of all, it's my first win since Masters last year, right? So a little bit longer than I would have liked, especially because I feel like I've put myself in position many times during that year. Leaving right before I went to Valderrama, Kelly was telling me how Kepa said that he wanted me to bring a trophy home. And the funny thing is, I played the Queenwood Cup in London with a good friend of mine. It's a pro member at Queenwood Country Club, and we won it. So I kind of made the joke to Kelly that, well, at least I'm bringing some type of trophy home. And I felt like I played good enough in Valderrama. I didn't get it done, and put myself in position today and played the back nine I needed, minus 17, which isn't more than a misread, unfortunately, for me. But really happy that I got it done. Did what I needed to do on Friday, which is something that I feel like I haven't done this season, right? Take the lead or shoot a low one to put myself in a really good position to where maybe I can afford a bet Saturday, right? And instead of playing catch up for the entire weekend, I was kind of in position and learned from the mistakes I made yesterday. I adjusted and played a fantastic round of golf today. That I really there's not a lot that went wrong. Made a lot of good swings out there and had a lot of fun, which is kind of how you want it. And at the end of that, now that Kelly and the kids are watching, just knowing that I'm bringing a trophy home for them is feels good to say that it's coming home. It gives me a lot of confidence, relief, like I said. Had it gone next week and perform well again and give myself a chance going into the last 6-7 holes, maybe might have felt different if I hadn't won, but haven't gotten over it. I think I would approach a moment like that with a little bit more confidence and especially after learning from what I could have done better today. So it's something I really look forward to. It's going to be a fantastic week to share with David, being another LIV member, a player that's become a really close friend of mine. It's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully one of us has a chance to get the gold. It never bothered me because I don't think any of you guys would say something I wasn't already thinking. I'm my worst critic. So when it comes to that, no, it really bothered me. And for the most part, a lot of it was true, right? I hadn't won in a while, and I'd given myself a chance, and I didn't get it done. I tried to use it as motivation, right? And told myself that if I put myself in that position again, I was going to try my hardest to take advantage of it. So I'm glad I did. For the most part, I felt like from what I've read in media is that I guess maybe my play hasn't reflected how good I really felt about my game, right? I felt like I was playing good, and I guess top 10s is not enough anymore, even when I didn't feel my best in some of the weeks, right? So just because I had poor performances at the Masters and the PGA, I think I was taking a lot of criticism just for 2 weeks on how I was really playing and how I really felt. So for really good to actually perform the way I did on the weekend last week and carry that over and win it. So yeah, I'm happy about it, but you almost, when you're in the public eye, you're going to get criticized. So you almost have to use it as fuel to motivate yourself. No, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. It hasn't been the easiest. And I really can't remember many wins when Kelly and the kids weren't there. I think it was only one Spanish Open, and I think that's it. So I'm really happy that I had my first LIV Golf win, and under normal circumstances that Kelly would have been here, but unfortunately she couldn't. And at this point, I'm just happy that in 1 week I'll be able to share the moment with them and celebrate. I think that was the most emotional part of things, right? Luckily, every time we've had a child, this is come with a win around that time or shortly after. So I'm glad that I got this one before she came out. I've thought about that question. I've been asked that question. I really don't have the perfect answer, because the Olympics, unfortunately, were not a possibility for any of us till 2016, right? So, and ever since then, there's been 2 editions, and with me not being able to go to Tokyo because of COVID, I might have been a little better watching that. So, hard to position myself on where or the magnitude or something like that may be, but to be able to say that you have a gold medal, or an Olympic medal for that matter, is something that a very small group of people in all human history can say. So I don't think it might have the recognition it could have yet, but in the future, this may be one of those things that means a lot more than we are aware of right now. So just to be able to add to a Spanish medal count would be absolutely amazing. So I can't put it in a ranking based on majors and things like that yet. But if I were to get it done on Sunday, ask me that same question, I'll be able to tell you, because you can usually tell on that 18th green how he feels. Obviously, you always want to win, right? So obviously, you always want to get that done, but you don't want to see a teammate and a good friend, missing a putt for that happening for me, right? So yeah, it's a bit of a unusual situation that I don't think any of us are used to, right? Team wins, I win individually, but still, having so much respect for Tero, somebody who's a good friend and somebody I've experienced a lot with, to can't really celebrate, because I still feel for him for finishing like that. So personally, obviously, I would say very relieved, having top 10 pretty much every time I've teed it up and given myself plenty of chances to win. And finally getting it done feels very good. Very feels like I got a lot of weight off my shoulders on that one.
To be honest, no. I mean, yeah, it's obviously still pretty raw for me as an individual. It's kind of hard to put that to one side. I mean, as a team, well, golf is generally an individual sport, and ultimately, like, your individual results will reflect what happens within the team. So I'm really happy for the guys to have a solid weekend and for us to win our 4th event as a team, but it doesn't change how I feel towards my own individual performance. And yeah, I mean, it sucks to bogey the last in front of your home crowd, to effectively miss out on a playoff. So yeah, that's unfortunately the reality of my situation at the moment.
It kind of softens the blow a lot on like how you're playing individually if you don't have it going. Like today, I was really grinding all day and, in kind of the middle of the pack. And, when I look up on the leaderboard, it's a lot less about where I'm at and kind of how I can help contribute to the team on the way in. But, it's pretty awesome. I think part of the reason why we're winning like this and have been and hopefully will in the future is, having this younger team and guys that, me and Kieran, who are probably not on John and Tyrrell's level yet, we're extremely hungry and, in no way are we ever satisfied. So we're always striving to get better, and I think we have 4 guys with that mindset that I think it's going to add up to a lot of success.
Yeah, we won 4 times. It's kind of hard to beat that. I don't think, or at least I don't know how many other teams have done that in a season. So whether it's a record setting or close to it, I think this is pretty cool. And so to be part of that team that's kind of record breaking, just as 4 new guys into this league, I think we're kind of taking it with open arms and running and enjoying this race that we're running right now. And so, yeah, I think we're excited and obviously super thankful for another good week with these guys.
Jon Rahm wins on the individual side. Legion 13, his team wins on the team side. And again, the drama there that Terrell was talking about was the fact that he was saying it's still raw because he missed that 5-footer at 18 that would have gone into a playoff for the individual distinction, but it went to Jon Rahm in his first win on LIV. So we got a lot more to go through with you. PGA Tour Superstore is a presenting sponsor of the Fairways of Life show. They opened yet another new store this past weekend. You've got 70 some odd stores spread out from coast to coast. It's no wonder that they are number one, the number one golf retailer in America, and it is those stores very much that's a part of it. I also believe, though, it's because of their people. I believe it's the chief reason, if frankly. It's their people. You're shopping with the pros. It's not just someone at a big box sporting goods store that wants to sell you sneakers over here, a weight machine over there, a fishing lure over there, and, oh, by the way, pick up a golf club. Now, these people know what they're talking about. That's why they are number one. PGA Tour Superstore, your happy place. Back with more after this.
PGA Tour Superstore pros aren't born. They're made. Every January, hundreds of associates talk to the top manufacturers, learn about the latest clubs, test the newest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together, hit over 100,000 balls, all so they can get you the perfect fit.
In Ireland, golf is more than just a game. Come and experience our world-famous links courses and our world-famous Parkland courses, all set alongside world-famous scenery. And visit our world-famous historic sites. And while you're here, enjoy our world-famous hospitality. Fill your heart with Ireland at ireland.com/golf.
Ben Hogan Golf Equipment is back. Established in 1953, we serve golfers who demand excellence of their equipment. Designed by the game's best engineers, forged in the world's best foundries, and built to order in the USA. Don't settle for off-the-rack disappointment. Elevate your game with custom clubs at direct-to-consumer pricing. Exclusively at benhogangolf.com. That's benhogangolf.com.
The Gen 6 iron is a culmination of everything that we have learned as a team, the absolute best golf club I've ever hit. It's something special. Say hello to the new PXG Gen 6 iron. The longest, most accurate irons we've ever made. They go higher and farther than any iron that I have hit to date, and they're so easy to hit. Super excited for the consumer to try this. They're gonna love them.
PXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Baseball? Nah. Football? Done it. I think I'm going to go after the PGA Tour.
Playing on the PGA Tour is not easy. But you know what is easy? Hitting the 524 series from Tour Edge.
Hitting linebackers and home runs used to be easy.
Out here, you're going to need all the easy you can get. Introducing the 524 series from Tour Edge. The easiest clubs you'll ever hit. Even the best players in the world can use a little easy.
I like the sound of that. Look out, PGA Tour.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
As we welcome you back to the Fairways of Life show on this Monday, hope you guys are doing well. So there was some breaking news in the business side of the game over the last few days. Not sure if you guys saw this news that Tim Clark is now the president of Tour Edge Golf. Tour Edge is a longtime partner with the Fairways of Life show. And Tim is someone that I know as a friend, and Tim is someone that I know as a professional in the industry now for 20, 25 years or more. And I could tell you, I guess that two things. One is, if you love following the hard goods side of the golf industry, buckle up. If you are a competitor, if you compete directly against Tour Edge, and each company has their kind of, their fillet. They have their part of the industry where they have their particular strengths. And obviously, no matter where you have your particular strengths, you're going to have competitors. So I'm saying it in that context. If you are a competitor of Tour Edge, watch out. Because what Tim did when he was president of Wilson Golf was mind-blowing. He took a division that was failing, and he turned it into a powerhouse in the industry. Generally, they were talking about it went, Titleist, Titleist, TaylorMade, Callaway, and you could interchange those 3 in terms of who you thought was the top. I'm not giving it to you in an order. I'm giving it to you of the top 5. And then you had Cobra, and then you had Wilson. And Tim pushed them into that position, did extremely well with what he did during that time. Well, now you've got Tour Edge that builds very high-quality product assembled in the United States. The custom-built product that they make is built and delivered 24, 48 hours you have it. And they build very high quality, very high technology product that is available at price points that are within reach of the vast majority. That's a pretty formidable combination. You bring in a guy now that has his experience for brand building and product development, the relationships that he has with, full stop, every single major distributor, wholesaler, retailer of golf equipment. All of them know and respect Tim Clark. So I'm super excited about what lies in store for Tour Edge. I've always loved Tour Edge. That's why we've been associated with him for so many years. But now to have the talent of Tim Clark associated with him, it's big news. It will be big news. All I can tell you is watch this space over the next few years. I'm talking figuratively in terms of keep an eye on Tour Edge over the next few years. And I think you're going to see a company that's already building upon a platform and a foundation of success that's going to do amazing things. There's no doubt about that. Dom, I haven't asked you yet today. Did you do a question of the day? And if so, what is it?
I did do a question of the day, and it is Olympics related. The question of the day is, what is the value of winning an Olympic golf gold medal? Is it the same as a major championship? Is it the same as like a regular tour win? Perhaps that's LIV Golf or the PGA Tour. Is it in between those two? In between sort of like a major and a regular win, somewhere in there? Or is it just meaningless? Do we think that golf is new and fresh in the Olympics? Sort of. I mean, it was in the 1900s a couple times, but it's basically new. And it just doesn't have any value yet. And so I put meaningless as an option. Now, right now, it is polling at 57% are saying it's in between, 53% just changed a little bit, in between a tour win and a major. So it is of value. The people are saying it's not a major championship, but it is more important than winning a tour event. So they say. That's the word.
Interesting. All right. I'm one of those that believes that it is of an equivalency of winning a major. It's that important. You've got the players that are competing, it's stroke play, and the players who are competing in the Olympics are the best players in the world. They're designated by their respective countries. Now, maybe someone could argue back to me and say, wait a minute, the United States can only send 4 people because of the way that you have to be inside the top 15 in order to do that. Everybody else is too. And so there's not enough depth. Here's a look at it, in fact. There's not enough depth, they could say. But if you look at the names, there's going to be some that you don't know. There's going to be a lot there that are winners around the world, good competitors. But it's not just that. It's also the fact that these are the Olympic Games. You talked about the fact that, golf was in the Olympics in 1900. It was in the Olympics in 1904, came back in 2016. Le Golf National is the location this year. In fact, in 2028, it's at Riviera, which will be interesting. Because it is the Olympic Games, I think that carries extra weight. I think it's more along the lines of what Jon Rahm was just saying in that sound that we played, where he said we can't yet in our time have a full appreciation for what this means, but it means a lot. It means a great deal. So I don't know. To me, it's huge. I think it's very, very important, and it's an important part of any player's resume. That's why when Xander broke through this year, now in retrospect, a major way. I think he was already showing us his class and his potential because he had won the gold medal the last time. It comes down to, for example, if somebody asks a question, Jon Rahm wins individually in LIV. What does that mean? What's the significance of it? Players competing in the Olympic Games, medaling in the Olympic Games, or winning a gold medal in the Olympic Games. What's the significance? What's the meaning of it? Well, to me, all of these things ultimately come down to, we like to judge the importance of anything against our own perspective, but I think the perspective to me that matters the most is the player's perspective. Does it make a difference to them? So over the years, for example, I had heard people who would scoff at the FedEx Cup playoffs. But in my early days of broadcasting, one of my assignments was I was sent out to the parking lot to talk to the players that were slamming the trunk that were going home. And I could see the disappointment. I could see how upset they were that they didn't make it to the next week. They didn't make it forward. So that's where I'm getting at. If it's important to them, it's important to me. And what we've seen with the Olympics is that even players initially, for example, like a Rory McIlroy, who kind of, the first year were kind of like, meh, all of a sudden said he's never fought so hard to finish in third place. And the joy that you see from, again, you can go Nelly Korda, you can go Xander Schauffele last time, biting the gold medal and the pride and joy that came with that victory. Yeah, it's representing your country, and I get that, and I respect that because that's a large part of the significance of it. But it's also an individual accomplishment because of the strength of the field that you're up against. And remember that field is not, Jon Rahm is in it. It's not biased against. It's like a major in that regard too, right? In that it's not biased against where you play your golf. The so-called ecosystem that we had heard a couple years ago initially that would, to me, I suspected from the start was nothing more than an effort to build up walls. But that doesn't exist either. There's a pathway for players from wherever you play to represent your country and compete. So I am excited about it. I'm, as Dom was telling us in the last segment, it starts at 3 a.m. on Thursday and runs through accordingly, Eastern time. And then the women's it will be the next week, which I'm very much looking forward to, 3 a.m. Eastern time again for the coverage. I'm still a little bit confused in where I can find out where all the other Olympic coverage is. And I don't just want it, Dom said, as a re-air at night. I'd like to know when it's happening live so I can make a choice if I'm around and up, whatever, I can see it. But we'll see. We'll see how that plays itself out. Now, on the PGA Tour, as I mentioned, teased at the start of the show, we had a veteran campaigner, a multiple-time winner coming into this week, 3 times coming in, 4 times now after victory at the 3M. 39 years old, 11 months and 9 days in his 299th start. Jonathan Vegas breaks through and wins once again. He ended a drought of 6 years, 363 days. It was interesting, too, because for the week, he was even par on the front 9. He was 17 under on the back, and that's exactly what he had to do yesterday to secure this win. And he was, I also talked about this, too, so I should pay this off. Second player this season to win with a triple bogey. He had it on hole number 7 in the round 1. Scotty Scheffler did it at the Memorial. A triple bogey. If I'd asked you guys at the start of the show, can you score a triple bogey and win on the PGA Tour in 2024? I'm guessing the vast majority would be like, no, the competition's too tough. Everybody would pounce all over you. Well, he and Scotty Scheffler both did it and both won this year. So let's start with finding out what Jonathan Vegas thinks about being back in the winner's circle.
Wow, yeah, 7 years, it's, I mean, in my head, it doesn't really seem that it's been that long, but obviously it's been 7 years. It hasn't been easy, that's for sure. It's been a lot of grinding, a lot of dealing with injuries, a lot of, headaches. But these are the moments that, that you get up every day and you work hard and you do all the right things because, nothing feels better than this. So, this is a special place for me. I mean, I got a lot of friends over here. It's a course that I really connected extremely well 3 years ago when I finished second here. So I knew that, it was a golf course that I had a great chance of playing well. Obviously, the expectations were, we're not trying to win. We were just trying to, have a great week. And obviously, the great week turned up into a win. So, I'm out of my head right now. So it's just, it's incredible. Well, I mean, that was the cherry on top of the cake. I mean, in my house, we've had a lot of talks. My boy's 5, hadn't had a win since he was born. And there's a lot of pictures of my daughter with the trophies around the house. So my boy kept asking me, when I'm going to have a picture with a trophy here. So, like I said earlier, there was a big cloud, in my, on top of my head because I needed to have a win for him. It's even more special that they were here because a lot of times they're not. So it just means the world. I mean, this is a big win for them, and they're going to enjoy it more than I am, for sure. Well, I mean, it doesn't really change much. I mean, in the sense that, obviously we got to win them in a couple of weeks to get ready for 66 is still not a secure place going into the playoffs, but. But either way, I just gave myself a pretty good chance to move up, which it kind of changes the focus a little bit, right? I mean, you go from, okay, maybe I got to have a great, fall to move up and have a good status for next year to really preparing to try to have a run at the FedEx Cup. So, that's the beauty of golf. That's the beauty of the PGA Tour. No other tour in the world provides that. Any week can change. Any week can change your life forever. So. I'm just thankful the win came this week. Well, so it started this way. Beginning of 2022, I started the season and I knew I wasn't feeling great. Couldn't figure out why, but my elbow, it wasn't feeling great. I had an MRI, had a piece of bone broke off of my elbow and it got stuck into the elbow joint. So I had to have surgery mid of 2022. Maybe came back a little bit too soon. I started playing through it, not feeling great. Obviously the doctors cleared it, but I wasn't feeling great. Played the rest of 22 and the start of 23, and then the shoulder started bothering me. And, at the end of the day, the bursa got very inflamed, very thick, and it was hurting the shoulder. So I had to have surgery May of 2023. And I came back at the beginning of this year not feeling 100%. And today I wasn't 100%. And I felt it right away on the first hole. And it was a nightmare, but luckily, I stayed calm and I was able to play pretty solid and not make huge mistakes. So
it is the elbow on a day like today that you can kind of feel flaring up?
Well, today it's more about the shoulder, right? The elbow has been more than 2 years. The shoulder's not 100%. So just waiting for it. But, like I said, I'm just super happy for everything that I've been through to be sitting here with you guys.
All right, Jerry on the second row.
You ever had a drive end up cradled in a policeman's arms?
Well, that was wild, right? I mean, out of all of the places that I've walked and go to find a policeman, luckily, you know, I mean, he was standing on the right place. I was able to get a good drop and have a, you know, somewhat of a clear shot to the green, but it's just kind of one of those crazy stuff that happens in golf.
That's not one of those things where you play it as it lies.
You luckily no. I mean, he has a gun, so you don't want to swing at that guy. Well, I mean, that's actually, you know, a great question. Venezuela's going through a big moment right now. We're having, you know, presidential elections, and it's been 10 years since I've been home. It's been in my mind every single day. And you know, like I said, I mean, my goal is always to spark the next generation, right? I mean, you know, have a goal to build the next generation of Venezuelans to make to the PGA Tour or the tours around. It hasn't been easy because of, you know, many political reasons. So hopefully, like I said, this keeps, you know, inspiring a lot of the next, you know, generation from Venezuela to keep fighting and to know that, you know, working hard you can do it. So that's the goal. Well, I mean, like I said, you have to start proving yourself, right? You know, you have to get out here and you have to make cuts and you have to put yourself in positions to, you know, to play well. And you know, I feel like you know, for the past kind of couple of months, I've been close. I've had some decent finishes, and I knew that I was getting closer. Obviously, yesterday, you know, I felt absolutely amazing out here, where I was hitting the ball extremely solid. I was making good putts. Like, everything felt like the game was absolutely there. So I was really excited today, and obviously it wasn't there. But I mean, like I said, it's a building process. I mean, we all go through it. You have to build up confidence, and the only way you build up confidence is by playing well. And it's been happening. So, but I mean, obviously, to be here and sitting and winning, you have to play even more special. So it just worked out that, like I said, that I played great for 3 days, and I was able to manage a good day today to have the win by one.
Max Greyserman also played very, very well indeed, finishing in second place. He birdied 6 of his final 9 holes. He posted an 8 under 63. You can see there on your screen he finished only 1 shot back. Let's find out what his thinking was about that finish, and in particular the incredible shot he hit from the woods left on 18 to find the putting surface.
Yeah, so I hit, obviously I pulled it, hit a poor tee shot. I was on the cart path, took a drop about 3-4 yards back and to the right. There was kind of a tree in the way, so it was like, do I go left, do I go right, do I lay up? And at that point, like, I had kind of seen the board a little bit, so I knew about where I was. And then I asked my caddy, like, what do we do here? And he's like, let's go for it. At this point, you got to go for it, you know, because we're trying to win. So picked a gap in the right side of the trees, had to draw it, obviously started over the water and draw it back towards the flag, and played the safe shot and overdrew it, and just had to hit a nice hard draw under the trees. 246 front. I didn't even know what the pin was. I had no idea what the pin was. I knew I had to just at least carry it 246. So honestly, I didn't think, I mean, given the circumstances, that's a tough shot. But, you know, if I felt good about it. I just felt like it was a low stock draw 4. You know, if I had to hit maybe like a 7-iron or something through that gap, that would be difficult because I had to keep it low. But since I had a low lofted club, yeah, normally I think about, you have to play a little bit to the fat side of the pin if there's trouble or not. And at that point in the tournament, you just got to go for it. So I just went for it. Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation, you know, because as a rookie, you want to get as many points as possible. So, you know, sometimes you're thinking about second or third place, not just a win. You know, I hit that in the water, I make bogey or something, and all of a sudden, you know, I'm coughing up 100, 200 FedEx Cup points, a lot of money, stuff like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, we play to win, right? So that was kind of the conversation. You know, maybe if that was the same situation in January at the start of my rookie year, maybe I would have thought about it differently. But, you know, thankfully had enough points where I didn't really have to worry about it if I failed in that scenario. So it gave me I felt like the risk-reward premium was good, so I went for it.
All right, Matt Kuchar was another one that thrust himself into contention through the course of the weekend yesterday. Kuchar, his 555th start on tour. The 9-time winner also has 15 second-place finishes, 16 third-place finishes, 62 times he has finished in the top 5. Did you realize that he had that level of proficiency that many times knocking on the door? Let's find out what he was thinking.
Yeah, listen, it was a good week looking back on it. It was fun to be out with a chance to win on Sunday. I hadn't had this opportunity in a while, and to be in the last group Sunday to have the lead for a moment there was an exciting day. Certainly wish I could have done more. I feel like short game let me down a little bit. I don't think I got one ball up and down on a missed green today, which typically one of my strengths is being able to kind of scramble pretty well. But it was a challenging day. Pars were good scores. I came away with a bunch of them today, but needed a handful of birdies to do the trick. No, certainly making the playoffs, keeping my job for next year. They're all check marks. I normally like to check these off a lot earlier in the year than right now, but 'tis the bet I made. So certainly helpful. Like it is on my mind. It is something that I know is kind of back there. I don't want to miss the playoffs, don't want to miss top 125, all those things. You tend to try to check off somewhere on the West Coast, but here I am late in the year trying to still check them off. Yeah, I don't know where this puts me. Certainly, within probably some striking distance. So, yeah, I'll be in Greensboro again with basically that on my mind, trying to get in that top 70.
All right, Greensboro. So that's what Matt Kuchar has done throughout the course of the last week, and we were talking about what he's done throughout the course of his career. And I asked you a question right before we went to the sound. Did you think that he had that level of proficiency? Would you have known? I'm sure some of you would have been like, yeah, because he was, as they say, a top 10 machine was the thing that they always talked about with Kuch. But that is really impressive stats, 62 top 5s and the way it all breaks down. And then, he had a good run at a major. Last I remember was in 2017 at Royal Portrush when he went into battle with Jordan Spieth. And then Jordan Spieth did magical Jordan Spieth things that he used to do back in those days. All right, we'll be back with more on the Fairways of Life show. Still more to go through, including a major championship, the women up in Alberta, and Tiger's leg. Some new photos have emerged to show you the amount of damage that was clearly done, the trauma that was done to that right leg from the car accident. Back with more after this.
I got ball fit in 2000, went on a little run. Then Bridgestone fit me again, and I went on another run. I just got fit again for the new Tour BX. The ball fitting's been helping me. Will it help you?
What would your ultimate golf experience be like? Just you and a friend? Or would you round up some buddies for a foursome? Just one day? Or an entire week? There's a good chance your ultimate golf experience could be Michigan's magnificent 10. 10 incredible courses set among 3 remarkable resorts. See for yourself. Book your ultimate golf experience today.
I think when you're training for other sports, or why most people go to the gym is so that they can have muscles and be strong and be healthy. And a lot of the reason why they struggle to play golf is their body doesn't move properly for them to be able to hit a golf ball. And when you're training for golf, it's a little bit different because you're focused more on flexibility and mobility and being strong in motion. When you're able to kind of have a warm-up and have a workout routine and kind of gradually build up to where you're training your body to move properly, yeah, you're going to get a lot of big dividends on the golf course.
PGA Tour Superstore pros aren't born. They're made. Every January, hundreds of associates talk to the top manufacturers, learn about the latest clubs, test the newest equipment, log thousands of hours of training, and together, hit over 100,000 balls, all so they can get you the perfect fit.
What if we started a company and the company was under no time constraints, no financial constraints? The one constraint is their clubs had to be exceptional performers and much better than any other alternative. I was told time and again it'll never work. It worked like a house of fire. And I'll tell you what, I think our customers love it. BXG, nobody makes golf clubs the way we do, period.
Stride by Zero Friction, the first of its kind personal caddy. Walk in comfort and style with Stride's remote and follow me technology. The Stride handles almost any terrain, and its 54-hole range will last all day. The lightweight design and removable front wheels makes it simple to handle. Plus, it easily fits golf carts. Pick up your Stride today at a local PGA Tour superstore near you or at zerofriction.com/Stride. Stride, your personal caddy.
Welcome back to the Fairways of Life show. Hope you guys are doing well. Don, what's the voting now on your question of the day?
29% are saying that the value of winning an Olympic golf gold medal is the same as a major. 48% are saying it's in between a tour win and a major championship. 10% are saying it's the same as a regular tour win in terms of value. And 14% are saying it's meaningless. I don't think it's meaningless. That's pretty rough, but 14%.
Yeah, but almost what did you the top two were 76, 77%?
48% are saying it's in between. And you were saying it's the same as a major. I think a reasonable answer is right now today the value is in between a tour win and a major. But I think history will look back on it as the same as a major. But that's going to take 50 years. It's not going to happen right now.
I don't think it's going to take that long, but okay. Fair enough. The CPKC Women's Open was in Alberta. Lauren Coughlin ended up with the victory on 13 under par. It was her first victory on the LPGA, and it came in her 103rd start. 1 under 71 on that round that you just saw her tap in that one there. I guess it's never a tap in when you're going for a birdie. She did make a critical birdie on the 17th, though, in order to secure the victory. She had 3 birdies and 2 bogeys on the day. And when she finished up, she spoke to the emotions of finally breaking through.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. I think I kind of went through a bunch of different things. You know, I was a little anxious to get going, but overall I felt pretty good warming up. When I walked to the first tee, I could kind of feel a little bit not too bad out on the golf course until probably until Hayran 3-putted on 16. And then it kind of started there, like just the adrenaline and everything. But I think I've learned a ton from all of the different times I'd put myself in position this year, and was able to talk to Terry about it and get it out and not keep it internal, which is kind of what I tend to want to do. But yeah, I think then I hit that shot on 17, and it ended up being really good. I hit it a little behind it, but I needed to take some off of it because if I hit it too good, it was probably going to go over the green. But yeah, and then I hadn't really made anything all day, and finally just kind of got back to some basics when I was over the putt, and looked like it might not turn in, and then it did. But then I was obviously pretty pumped up going into on the 18 tee. So just the people that believed in me from the very beginning, who kept me going when I wanted to quit, and it's my family, my parents, my husband, my coach John Llewellyn, my college coach Kim Llewellyn. I went to Kim Llewellyn's office after my rookie year on Epson wanting to quit, and she kind of kept me in it and said, it's normal to feel like this. You're not the only one. That was in 2017. So those are the people that I was thinking about. Just thankful that I have a really, really small but good circle around me. Get around the best people you can. Better players, usually the better. I feel like I just learned so much by getting myself in around people who are better than me, and just trying to learn as much as I could. What are they doing? What are they practicing? How are they doing things? I think that was a big thing, and just don't give up. It doesn't, just because you're not, good from 12 years old doesn't mean that you won't be good at 25 or 30.
It was fun watching the Senior Open at Carnoustie over the course of the last few days. A number of different thoughts were kind of rolling through my head. First of all, we've played there, many times over the years when we take our listeners' trips, and we're going to have one in 26 again to the old course at St. Andrews, and then kind of spread out from there. And we always play Carnoustie as part of it. And it was really neat to see them playing holes or missing in a certain section that you're familiar with where it is from playing there. And it also made me think about our friend Mark Carnevale, because when he was old enough to play in the Senior Open that year, it was at Carnoustie, and he actually called in the show. Dom, do you remember Carney calling us from the Senior Open at Carnoustie? And he was that day he was on his way to play a practice round with Tom Watson.
I do. I vaguely remember. I don't remember all the details, but I actually do remember that. Yes, I do.
It was just so mind blowing that he was, here he is at his first senior major, and his practice round is with none other than Tom Watson, and it was at Carnoustie, and that was one more thought. And then a third thought that runs through my mind, which, Dom, you're going to know and appreciate this. You remember our friend John Durr? For those of you that may be relatively new to the Fairways of Life show, John Durr was well into his 90s when we were introduced to him, and we'd have him on the show with regularity. This is when the show was just radio. And John Durr was the old, I'd say he was the sports guy on CBS radio, but he was more than that because they had him do news. And he had this way when he spoke, it was very much like this. Everything was very sharp-edged. It was very much like radio back in the day. And he was at Carnoustie in 1953 when Ben Hogan went over, qualified, played, and won at Carnoustie, the only Open that he ever played in. And John Durr would explain that I would have lunch with Ben Hogan every day. We would have soup after his round. And Ben Hogan, after a morning practice round, said to his caddy, "Did you fill in my divots? Because I want to play a practice round again this afternoon." And so it wasn't long before John Durr passed away that he sent us a disc with the interview between him and Ben Hogan. Remember this, Dom? It blew us away when we got it.
I do.
And the thing
we
that
have
really...
the audio still somewhere.
Oh, you have to find that. We've got to find that.
We have it. We can play it this week. Andrew and I can find it after the show today.
All right, there you go.
It's the interview that he conducted with Ben Hogan in 53. Isn't that also the same one where he told us that he had to take a boat over and he was the only American journalist?
Yes.
Yeah. It's just him and Hogan.
Yeah, but it's a really bizarre thing because one of these trips, this is where these roads kind of meet. We're at Carnoustie and we're playing, and we had played and we finished, and we're all kind of sitting around and having a pint. And the GM brings me over this, newspaper clippings. It was pictures. It was a lot of different stuff. So he brings it over to me, this huge scrapbook. And I open it, and it's all originals. He was like, "Yeah, this was, a member had this, a member had that, gave this to us." And in it was this newspaper photo, because you kind of folded it up. And it was a newspaper photo of Frank Sinatra standing on the rope line. And it's one of those kind of like bizarre things. You'd be like, what? Apparently Frank Sinatra was in that area doing a show in 1953. And even today, when you're in Carnoustie, it's a very industrial type area. It doesn't feel like an area that would, have tourists or, concert halls. But there was Frank Sinatra, and he was at that Open watching Ben Hogan win. So anyway, I folded up the newspaper, put it back in the scrapbook, gave it back to the GM, and asked him to take it away from us because you had a bunch of guys that had just finished playing, pounding down the Guinness or whatever else they were drinking, and it was like, this isn't the place for us to have something that is absolutely priceless in our hands. That stuff should be in a museum someplace, not with a bunch of us swilling down the pints. So It was pretty cool. It was pretty amazing, and it was fun to watch. Incidentally, Carney's, we're doing a celebration of life for Mark coming up this week. So KJ Choi was able to hold on for victory at Carnoustie, and the Senior Open is his. Here's a clip from KJ Choi.
Yeah, I have all this in glory to God. So happy for this week. Everyone support, appreciated, spectator and volunteers and sponsor, Rolex, even RNA, Carnoustie, all good. And very difficult to maintenance in the golf course. For player is more hard, This week, good fight. And so I'm putting better this week, more control to irons, more patience. I'm learn a lot this week. I'm so happy to in the trophy. I really want it with champions because of my dream come true. I'm younger player in Korea. It's always the Open and senior Champions Open. So I watching to TV. So I grew up. But today final round is the starting bogey after 6 hole in the 3 over par. So wow, very difficult for me. So, but after 7, 8, 9, it's a little bit swing more comfortable. It's my more pray and then God with me, so more comfortable. And either way, it's good or bad. It's all Jesus. Okay, so my mindset is free. Okay, let's go. Hitting number 9 in the second shot, 215, 5 irons. Is inside the 10 foot. I make it birdie first one. So after that, back to back in the number 10, in the 12, 14 is a birdie. Eagle with the 14 is a big in the momentum. So today, very good moment is patience, and then waiting, and then and the best to do every hole. So learning a lot, and then thank you for everybody and God.
All right, KJ, congratulations with his victory at the Senior Open at Carnoustie. So these photos of Tiger I was telling you about with his right leg and the damage that was done to it, the first place we saw it was from Bunkered magazine. Michael McEwen put it out, and you could see, especially the one on the right, that it's a lot lighter in the photo. You can see the trauma. You can see the damage with that massive scar there on Tiger's leg. I mean, I don't know. My thought on that, Dom, is that if you're going to have a scar like that in your leg, own it. You know what I'm saying? Own it. I had a buddy that had a stroke. He was in his 30s. He had a stroke. And like his one side of his body didn't work well at all. He had to use like a cane. I was like, dude, you should get a walking stick with like one of those like crystal balls on top of it and let he had red hair, like let your long red hair and beard just be like young Merlin when you come into a room. Own it. So with Tiger, I would say that scar, look at that. You could make that into like the best like dragon tattoo. Right? And have the scar be like the spine running down its back there. Something like that. Then you don't have to wear the sleeve or anything. Just own it. You don't agree?
Oh, you just want me to comment? I mean,
yeah, I just told you. I just gave you the greatest idea in the world.
He should definitely not be wearing a sleeve. He should be 100%. I mean, you just show that thing off. I mean, that's a mark of men love scars. I mean, can you imagine any pro-am that he's in? Like, oh, yeah, I got this thing here, or I had surgery here. And he's like, look at that. It's like, oh, my God. He's like, oh, I can't walk. And then, boom.
What'd you think of the dragon idea, though? I thought
right
that was absolutely ingenious.
Yeah, I mean, turning it into a tattoo is not a bad idea. That's also a really good idea. I don't know about a dragon tattoo. If he was going to turn it into something, he'd turn it into a tiger tattoo is what you do.
He's already got the bony tiger thing, and that's his apparel now.
Yeah, but make that scar the same logo or something.
I don't know how you do a tiger around
Andrew, put that picture back up there. Yeah.
How do you
Honestly,
get a tiger
I'll be
out of
honest
that?
here. I kind of thought there's a little bit of disappointment. There is. Because he wore that sleeve for so long.
You're
I
an
was
idiot.
anticipating something just horrifically
You're
grotesque
just an
underneath
idiot.
there. Just something
Disappointment.
awful. Just something that no one should ever look at. And that's, that's a baller scar right there. That's not as disgusting as I thought it was.
The first time you saw it this morning, you said, "Oh my God, that's disgusting." Let's be honest.
No, I didn't say that. That's not what I said. Don't tell me what I said or didn't say.
All right, what did you say then?
I just said, "Look at that. That's crazy." I said,
No,
I said,
that's not what you
wild.
did. Andrew,
I said
what
that's
did he say? It
wild.
was disgusting, or am I crazy? He
I
said,
never
"Oh my
said the word
God, that's disgusting."
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I do agree he should turn it into a tattoo. I don't know of what. I think a tiger makes the most sense.
I don't know how you get a tiger out of that. Put it back up there. I'll still go
I
back to the
think-
same thing.
I think
It's got to be something
unequivocally-
that's got length to it, like a dragon
I
or a snake
think
or cobra. Which is a
I
snake.
think without complaint, the one thing we can agree on is he should not wear the sleeve anymore. You got to show that thing off, tattoo or not.
Go back to the two-shot. This advice of what he's got to do is coming from a guy that's wearing a massive penguin.
It's a nice penguin.
I do like the product placement, though.
He's got
There
a
are-
tie.
there-
Look, he's got a tie on.
There are sponsors. Yeah, you can make a penguin tattoo out of it. All right, we're done. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. More coming up this week. Olympic golf coming up this week. We're going to have air times for you other than just the formal air times of 3 a.m. Get it there. And we'll have sound coming in from the Olympic Games from the men's golf this week, women's next week. Bye for now.